This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Hing.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
You're listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Hey, how are you today? It's really nice to see you once again. Today is December 11th, 2012. Got something fun coming up. More stories about internet dating. Maybe some horrifying stories too. Wouldn't that be fun? And a special guest on the show who's done 100 internet dates. So I'll have her on in a minute. First of all, I want to mention that you can call me on the show, ask me your questions, and I'll look into your head or whoever's head you want, dead or alive, and tell you what I see, what I hear. Look into your lives, look at your problems, see if I can't straighten you out. I'm an empath, telepath, clairvoyant, clairaudient, a medium, yada, yada, yada. Here's the number, 1-877-230-3062. This is all countries. And again, that's 1-877-230-3062. I'll just read you a little testimonial before we get into the topic here. Month or so ago, my daughter Summer, for the Flow Dreaming Show, and I did a prosperity class together for some people online. And we do these every once in a while, and we do a really good job, if I do say so. And Kim just sent me a note. Blessings, Summer and Venus. I have listened to both of your weekly radio programs for years now, and I offer you so much gratitude for what I was able to learn and experience through your advice, meditations, and services. I took your prosperity teleclass that took place several weeks ago because I have experienced your talents in the past, but I had no idea it would have made this change and so quickly. So many wonderful people and situations have presented themselves to the point that a dream of mine that I have held onto is finally coming to realization. I received my first paying client today, and I'm so excited. The prospect of more coming is happening, and I can feel something wonderful through this growth, so I'll be sitting back and enjoying the ride. Yes, and she has a lot of my MP3 mojos, the ones you can get off my site for a real nominal price. And you can play them over and over, and I have some for prosperity and big money and lottery winnings and all of that, and abundance, and also love, anything you can name. And I was just chatting a few moments ago with Summer, my daughter, and we've decided that we're going to have another class like we do as a teleclass. But this is going to be a love class to bring love into your life. Lots of love, 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 love in all different ways. We're going to have that February 9th, 2013, so be watching for that. Make sure you get my newsletter so you'll find out about it. And we decided that we're also going to be on each other's show, like a 2-hour block of shows about love. That would be January 29th, 2013. And again, I'll mention this in my newsletter at some point, probably in January. And what we do is I'm on her show, and then she comes on my show. We're back to back, and it's all going to be about love, and I'll be throwing out mojos, all kinds of exciting things. But now, even more exciting, we're going to talk about internet dating. And Barb will be on in a minute. Barb's my producer at CTR Radio. And she popped up a while back and said, oh, she knows a lot about internet dating. I said, well, I'm going to bring you on. But she's just waiting in the jolly wings here for a few minutes because I wanted to bring you up to date on a few things. First of all, do you remember Carol? She was on, was it a few weeks ago? This is 2012. You'll have to look back in time. This is December, so maybe it was in November. I had another show about internet dating, and I had a lady on named Carol. And she was in the midst of this enthralling romance with this man who lived in another country, and he was widowed, and he had some kids, and he traveled all over, and he was going to come and see her. in the United States around Christmas or in December, and they were calling each other boyfriends and girlfriends, I think. Anyways, hot and heavy. And she was on the air, and we talked about it. Well, here's what's happened since. He disappeared. He just rode off into that proverbial old sunset, and that was the end of that. And she sent me a note, and she wanted to tell you, she says, I never did anything dangerous or gave out any personal information. What happened did wake me up. And after 6 years, I have re-entered the online dating arena. I have already spotted a scamster on there. Same photo, 3 different usernames, wants to go immediately into personal email. I did not. And the profile disappears and pops up in a few days under a new name. Interesting. He, in quotes, has contacted me on each of his incarnations. As soon as I have the time, I'm reporting him. My personal rules now that I'm actually seeking a relationship, not merely contacted out of the blue on Facebook like before. Stay local. Delete guys who do not bother to write a personal message or post a photo. Stay within the system until you know enough to feel safe giving out a phone number or personal email. Of course, once you are ready to meet, keep it public and have an exit plan, such as someplace you need to be, even if it's to go home and water your plants. Also had a nice lunch with a nice man yesterday, but no chemistry. In communication with some others, it's almost easier for me to meet one at a time than try to juggle 3. And she said also, if they don't like dogs and you love dogs or whatever, just don't go there. She had some other words of advice. I got to move along pretty quickly here because I want to get Barb on, but I wanted to tell you about my friend. It's a friend of mine. I've known her for maybe 20 years. She lives in Florida, and she got into internet dating. She's in her 60s. A really good-looking, young-looking gal, and I would say she thinks she's pretty sexy. I think she is. But she got on, and she started calling this man her boyfriend. I said, who's your boyfriend? What are you talking about? She says, oh, he's this guy. I've known him from a while. I said, you have never mentioned him. Did you meet him online? Yes. And I said, well, have you met him in person? No. I said, you better meet him really fast. I guess on his Facebook page, you put, she's his girlfriend, and she put, she's his girlfriend, or, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyhow, and I'm like, whoa. She said, well, we've been talking for ages, and he calls me all the time. He calls me every evening and during the day, and we've talked. We know everything about each other. And I've seen his photos on Facebook, and so I went and looked at him. He looked nice, and he's a musician, she said, and I said, meet him. So they decided to get together, and she invited him to stay at her house for 5 days. I said, oh, my God, you didn't do that. 5 days at your house? Can't he stay somewhere else? She says, oh, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry. I go, oh, please, please, please. So he came, and I waited and sweated for 5 days. I could hardly wait. I said, you call me immediately when he leaves. So she did. And here's her report. She said he's much older looking in person, and he's much smaller. He has tiny shoulders, and he's short. And here's the part I love the best. She said, she finally admitted and told me, she said, well, he's got little bitty teeth the color of dried yellow corn. Little bitty teeth the color of dried yellow corn. I go, oh, I don't like little bitty teeth the color of dried corn. She says, I don't either. She says, I just wasn't attracted to him. And she went on and on. Then she's trying to tell me his good points about how her sister and brother-in-law loved him, her dog loved him, her cat loved him, everybody loves him. He's a lovely person, really nice. And then she finally admits, well, he's got sour breath. And then, guess who's laughing? Can you hear Barb laughing?
I'm like, oh, it's such a bait and switch.
Yes, well, not only that, and then she finally, she's talking to me for we're going half an hour, and all these things keep coming out. Little by little, Barb, little by little. And finally she says, well, the worst thing is he's prissy.
Oh, no. Oh,
he's
no.
Prissy.
Oh, he's
prissy. She says, I can't stand a prissy man. Anyway, And then she said, in 5 days, Venus, there was no downtime.
That's a commitment. 5 days. Wow.
And I said, I believe I told her so. But anyway, they're barely speaking now. And last time I talked to her, she told me that she's off men. No more online dating for her. She's tried it before and it never does work. But I'm introducing you to Barb, my producer, and Barb tells me she's had 100 online dates, and I'm just going to hand it over to you and see what you have to say about all this, Barb. What do you want to tell us?
Pretty close to 100. I figure somewhere between 75 and 100. I lost count.
Can we ask how old you are?
I am 44.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I
I started probably online dating. Yeah, you think I would have hit one by now. It's not like
not necessarily. I never did. Maybe physically hit one, right?
Exactly. Well, it started probably, I tried to figure out what the date was, and I want to say it was somewhere around 2006 to somewhere around there. And I was bored. Bored, and I was, mid-30s, so I'm in a spot where I'm not boozing it up at a bar all the time, so it's
right.
There's limited places where you could meet men, and everybody's trying this out. So I got sick, and I actually was just kind of trolling around, looking what was out there, and I saw a guy that I had seen around the city a couple of times. Well, I didn't know how the internet thing worked back then how the internet dating, how you wink at somebody and all of these things happen. Winked at him, he wasn't a member and so forth. But as soon as I went online and posted my picture, it just becomes really overwhelming because I got 1,500 hits.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, okay. So I couldn't, that was too much juggling going on. I'm like, I can't even get the names straight and so forth. So I really narrowed it down to a couple. But the first one I had, oh my God. So it was this guy, and I'm like, he's cute. We had emailed back and forth. And see, that's the thing is you really need to, you may be great pen pals, but once they get on the phone, you're like, what am I thinking?
Yeah.
Because they live their life through writing, and they don't necessarily know how to communicate. And that's what happened with this guy. Great picture, great job, and so forth. But the second he got online, or on the phone, I was just like, I swear to God, I'm like, is he drunk? I wasn't quite sure. But he I guess he got into a car accident, was on painkillers, and thought it was a good idea to answer the phone.
He what?
He
got into a
car accident, was on painkillers, and
he answered the phone. Oh my gosh!
Thought it was a good idea to answer the phone, and I was like,
well, you think things like that when you're on painkillers.
Well, exactly. And so it was so awkward. I was like, I don't even know what to say to you. I go, this is just really weird.
Yeah.
But that was the first one. Then I realized I kind of have to play the odds and so forth. So what are the things that I like and so forth, and I've had success. I've had 3 boyfriends that have all lasted, a year or more. And then other ones that we've gone through a whole relationship in 2 weeks.
Right.
So,
have you had any people where you met them and you went, oh my God?
Totally. Personally, I always put a medium shot picture of me, meaning I'm not going to put my glam shot up. I'm going to put I put up different aspects of me, because when they meet me, I always get, every time when I do a medium shot, it's always like, oh my God, you're even better looking than your picture. Yeah. And because that's the thing, is that the whole bait and switch, the yellow teeth and razor teeth and princey and stuff like that. You really need to read the profile and see what it is. And even down to your dates. Depending on who it is, if you're just wanting to date someone as a friend, let's say go hiking or anything like that, don't do day dates. Do happy hour. Day dates, any coffee date that I've ever gone out with never works out. It is always like an interview. So what do you like? What are you going to do? And I'm like, wow.
So instead you meet him for drinks? Instead you meet him for drinks?
I'll usually, happy hour is a good time, because if you go for happy hour and you really like the person, usually it'll transfer on to dinner.
Yeah.
So, and that's actually usually, that's how most of my boyfriends have come, is like we started out at happy hour, and it's always been when I'm just done at the end of my reign, dating and so forth, and then I'm like, oh, I'm about to quit. And then I get one last email. And then usually it'll be kind of a smart aleck offhand comment that I make, and then that's where it starts.
Huh.
And I'm not even looking forward to, I'm like, oh, I just got to go on this last one.
Yeah. So have you had any really terrible experiences? Outrageous or hysterical? Or
Well, there was Crazy Johnny.
Oh, I want to know about him.
Crazy Johnny was... Crazy Johnny, I'd found out afterwards, had dated or had been on match dates with 3 of my inner friends. They're like, don't you know, Barb, that we were talking to Crazy Johnny? Crazy Johnny was just very good looking, financier and so forth, but just up and down, rude. Oh, but he smelled so good.
He smelled good?
Oh, he did. This is a pheromone thing. And instantly it was like the cheerleader and the football player, after a basketball game. We were instantly, arguing. And I'm like, am I 16 again? But extremely attracted to him.
Oh, dear.
And so that went on. But then, you find out through the grapevine that, you're not the only one that he's seeing. And that type of thing. But nothing massively outrageous. But, there's just things you need to do that when you're looking. You just need to be really, really smart. And there is the internet out there, so you can background check. And I don't mean you have to pay to background check. All you need to do is Google who you're looking at, and you will find a plethora of information of whoever.
Oh, that's a good idea if they're giving you the right name.
Yeah, well, if they're not giving you the right name, then you probably shouldn't go.
That sounds good. I wanted to share with you some stuff I found on salon.com, SALON.com. December 5th, 2012, if anybody wants to look it up, there was an article about internet dating. And there's a lot of addresses there, site addresses for these places where you can go and read the most outrageous things that have happened with people on internet dating. And they say there's an overabundance of men flexing their abs while taking selfies in the bathroom mirror, that kind of thing.
Totally.
Each post on one of these places where you can submit, she says, each post is given literal points for, quote, lack of basic spelling and punctuation skills, bad sexual innuendo, reliance on cliché, terrible taste in books, music, or movies, use of 12-year-old girl text slang, and creep factor. For example, a message that starts with the opener, you kind of remind me of a girl I dated a long time ago. She was really screwed up. Or how about this another one, a guy got in touch with this woman online. You pretty hair color, would love to feel it with my lips. And here's my favorite, I think, Barb. I talked to my therapist yesterday about my obsessive urge to sexually dominate and abuse women, and we're working on it together, so that's not something you need to worry about. So what do you say? Want to chill sometime? And here's another one. I think you're attractive, and if you feel the same way towards me, it's possible that you might be open to my proposition to have sex with each other.
Oh, that sounds.
And then another man posts a photo of himself being a single fellow, and in the picture, his hand shows up with his wedding ring on it.
Oh, you know what? I had a lot of guys that I had gone out on dates that they said there was a lot of women that they had dated that they found out that they were married.
Ah,
yeah.
I bet that happens a lot. And here's something else: 26 completely unexplainable dating site pictures you can look at, including a creepy-looking fellow, along with a screenshot of his answer to the profile prompt. He says, "I spend a lot of time thinking about women shooting." Women shooting. Very interesting. And the last one here, because online dating is so difficult, let's see. They say they just enjoy putting these things up. And it says, plus we're all pretty uncool. And when it comes to online dating and making fun of the worst among us can make the rest of us feel a touch suave. You're not the only one getting these crazy messages. And we may be single, but at least we're not dating those people that we can read about. But anyway, it's kind of fun, and it reminds me of when I first started trying online dating a number of years ago, and my mother, in her 80s at the time, hanging over my shoulder, got more excited than I did, so I started looking for her. Thank God we never found anybody. But, yeah, anything else you want to add before we have to go to break here?
No, ladies out there, just be smart. You know, you're the one. You pick them. You choose them. So choose wisely.
Yeah, but I want to say something there. You know what I found is, if I chose the man, invariably they weren't interested. I had to wait for them to choose me, and then I chose from that selection. Did you have that?
Well, you know, I admit I'm a total lazy dater. I wait for them to come to me.
Well, it's not being a lazy dater. I just found that unless they choose you, they don't have an interest. It's a visual thing.
Oh, well, but the way that Match sets up is you can it shows who's looked at your profile. Yeah. And usually whoever's I've looked at their profile and then I'm interested in them, they've contacted me.
Oh, well, good to know.
So yeah, so that kind of that helps out definitely.
Well, this has been interesting. I still don't feel impressed to go back and look on the internet, especially after my friend's experience with the little bitty dried up yellow corn-colored teeth and sour breath.
Oh, there's a lot of bait and switch out there.
I know. Well, thank you, Barb. I really
welcome.
appreciate it. I just want to say that Barb is great. We have a lot of fun during the commercial times, and what Barb does, what a lot of you do, is she goes along with me when I'm working online with people, and then she'll tell me during the break what she picks up. I know a lot of you are doing that with me, too, to see what you get. I think it's a really good way to learn how to do this kind of thing. So I encourage you all to practice, because you probably get things I don't, and if you do, email them to me, and if I think it sounds fair, I might read them on air, and the person might hear it, and that adds a whole new dimension to something. All right, Barb, I guess we better cut for break, and then I'll be right back to take your calls. This is Venus Andrecht with the Dear Venus Show.
Love and benefit from the good energy mojos that Venus has on her website? Do you sometimes feel it when she tosses mojos to you on her radio show? If so, you will extra like her paintings and wall switches, because as Venus paints, she fills her work with powerful, good energy mojos. Venus says, when you have these on your walls, your home or workplace is always filled with good mojo to help things in your life go better for you. When you purchase this very popular art from Venus, she also puts a personal mojo in the piece just for you. You can see and purchase all this great energy art on artmojos.com. That's artmojos.com. Intentionally bring more power of the universe into your life. Many people say that Venus's paintings are always working for them. Let them work for you too.
Some people tell me they listen to my archive radio shows at night because I put them to sleep. When I complain, they say, "Oh, it's the sound of your voice, Venus. I love it because it relaxes me." Well, okay, that's good then. You can find all my archive shows on iTunes, Pinterest, and YouTube. To find my live and other archive shows, please go to my website, godisalwayshappy.com, and look under radio on my site. That's godisalwayshappy.com. And sleep tight. Don't let those bed bugs bite.
Want to win a phone reading with Venus? Venus announces a new winner's name every Tuesday on her Dear Venus show. It's easy to get in the possible winner's pot. Go to her website and look for the blue headphones. Click on them, and you'll get a free MP3 mojo from Venus called No Matter What Happens, Everything Is Always Okay. People say Venus's mojos bring many good results into their lives. Clicking on the blue headphones puts you on Venus's latest mailing list, where she draws the names for free readings. If you have never clicked on the blue headphones, you're not on the current list. Venus's website is godisalwayshappy.com. That's godisalwayshappy.com. And while you're there, look for more MP3 mojos that you can purchase for a nominal price. You'll be surprised at the happy results they may bring into your life. Are you ready to stop suffering over men? Are you seriously ready to be happy? Are you ready to have a great love life? Venus finally found the answers for an emotionally happy love life. She wrote the 5-star book about how you, too, can change your life with certain men, or even certain women. In it, you'll read the horrifying and funny true stories of Venus's former love life, and the true tales of many of her friends and clients, and how they all finally escaped the crying, whining, moaning, emotional trap to find real love and happiness. The ebook is titled Certain Men, How to Unlove Them, Unneed Them, and Replace Them with a Good Guy. It works with certain women, too. People say this book has saved their lives. You can read the first chapter on Venus's website, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. You can find Certain Men as an inexpensive ebook at all the online bookstores. Certain Men. Are you ready to give them the boot? Are you ready for good love? Certain Men, the ebook by Venus Andrecht, now available at all online bookstores.
You're listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Hi, welcome back. Lost me for a minute there. I was reading the chat room. We're having fun over there. Cindy, I read for her a few weeks ago. Remember the bad boyfriend? Her friend's daughter was involved with this kid I thought was really, really bad. Nasty little head, hurt animals from what I could see. Well, they're on the outs now. I hope I had something to do with that. Because the mother was really worried. Anyway, before I get back into work here, back to work, I want to bring Barb back on a minute. Are you there, Barb?
I am.
Well, she has a funny little story she was telling me during the break. I said, well, you got to tell everybody that. So go ahead.
So anyway, I had been chatting with this guy in Scotland, and he was working on a research boat that's off the coast of Scotland. So, he's at sea, deep sea diving. And we were just back and forth writing, really nice. We dug the same music, TV shows, all that kind of thing. It's not like I was going to go over there or anything like that. But, people remember what you do before you hit send. So anyway, I had sent him an email, and then he sends back an email that says, I love that short dress and those black boots. And the first thing I'm like, I don't got no dress like that and black boots. And then it went on, and it just got really, really juicy. And the next thing you know, it's like, I'd like to stick my hand up your knickers, and it went from there. And I was, and I'm like, and I just looked at it. I was like, he just ruined the fantasy in my head.
Did
and
you
I'm
tell
like,
him he?
Oh, totally. That hit said, and I'm like, wrong girl. And he's like, and then he sent back. He's like, oh, that wasn't meant for you. I go, really? Because I don't remember the black boots either.
Oh, wow, but too late.
And it was funny because we actually became Facebook friends way, way, way later. But we were also just chatting for fun. It wasn't like, he was coming here or I was going there. So
yeah, you got to be careful with those emails. One time I was complaining and bitching about some girl I knew. I can't remember what it was. Hit the send, and I sent it to her.
Oh.
You know what? Whenever I send something now, I relook, and then it's like you have to check the coffee pot a dozen times before you leave the house. That's how I am now.
But, so every time I kind of hear when people say, that's why you have to meet him in person. It's like you kind of hear people saying, you're like, he's such a nice guy. And you're like, yeah, until I meet him.
Yeah, that's for sure. Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome.
Well, I better get to work here. Thanks. All right, everybody. Next show coming up. There's a new show every Tuesday, the Dear Venus Show, December 18th, 2012. Looking for a dead celebrity on the other side. I don't know who it's going to be yet. I'll be waiting to hear who contacts me from the other side who wants to have a chat, so that should be fun. Last week I sort of accidentally talked to Van Gogh, and that was interesting. He was a heavy little marble, wasn't he? Anyway, after that, we're going to holiday. So the next show will be the first part of January 2013, and I haven't decided what I'm going to talk about then. So just show up and see what we've got. And blog, I've got a new blog coming out tomorrow, Wednesday. That would be December 12th, right? 12, a new blog coming out. My blog, you can find it under godisalwayshappy.com/blog. Or you can sign up for it. Just get it every week. And to do that, go to any blog article, find the RSS feed in orange, and put your email address in there. Something about the road, what happened on the road less traveled. I'm working on the name right now. Little something that happened to me in my childhood. I think you might enjoy it. And remember, I'm on Google Plus now. I've had my little problems with Facebook. I'm on Friend and Fan, and I put everything out there, but they just don't show much of it unless I pay for it. So I put everything that I put over there on Google Plus and maybe some other things. I hope you will join me there under Venus Andrecht, all small letters. All small letters. All right, let's hop back over here. Let's hop back to the studio, and I'm going to take your calls. Let's start with Zachary in New York. New York. Hello, Zachary. Do you go by Zach or Zachary?
I go by both. Zach or Zachary's fine. How are you doing?
Okay. Well, nice to see you.
It's such a treat to finally talk to you. I've been listening to you and Summer for quite some time now.
Well, good for you. I like to hear that. So what can I do for you today?
Well, I just had a question about career, I guess. My partner and I are both screenwriters, and we've been writing together for quite some time. And, we've developed a couple of scripts together, and one that we've finished, and it's been shopped around, and, we've had interest in it here, but nothing has kind of really pushed through. And recently we sent out like a bunch of query letters to, different production companies, about 50 or so, and we got some good responses, people wanting to read it, which was, as we were told, surprising, because usually, those don't go anywhere, but we had about, 20 responses.
Right.
So just kind of waiting to hear back from them, but I'd love to know if you saw anything, we just feel sort of stuck for so long. I didn't know if we were actually stuck or if you saw something in the pipeline.
Okay. I will look. Zachary, color hair, and how old are you? What do you do when you're not writing?
I am 37, black hair, and do retail work.
Okay. And your partner's name and the same info?
Paul, he is 40, and he has dark brown hair, brownish hair, and he is an assistant. To
what?
To a screenwriter. He's an assistant.
Oh, okay.
To an established screenwriter, yeah.
Okay. When you were talking earlier, I saw a man with blonde hair, someone with blonde hair. And I don't know if that means somebody who has an interest or will have an interest or is reading it right now. I have no idea, but I'm just throwing it out there. And can you give me the name of the story, or would that not be okay?
Well, I can kind of, I'd rather not give the title, but I can give you sort of the idea, or... Okay,
just briefly, just so I can look at it.
Well, it's a comedy based in sort of a small-town USA, dealing with two families or two cousins who were estranged, who were best friends as kids, but are estranged growing up, and kind of them coming together.
Okay.
Over a period of time. It doesn't sound like a comedy, but there's some comedic elements in it, definitely.
Okay. Let me just look at that. Let me look at you and Paul and this, what do you call it? Manuscript? What do you call it?
Screenplay.
Screenplay, right. Sorry, I'm out of my head. Words escape me. Okay, so I'm just sort of standing above, looking down. I'm asking the beings and any writers who are out there. Hey, do you ever call on dead writers or writers that you like, or people that are in the business who could help you? Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you listened to me? Well, yes, you have listened to me.
No. I've heard you mention that before, and sort of funny. I haven't asked anybody specifically, just sort of in general, yeah.
Yeah. Well, why don't you choose somebody, buddies who are in the business, producers or whoever it is you need, by name, and ask them if they can help you get you to the right places, the right people. This is what I'm hearing, so I'm being told. And you'll often find that you do get the help you need. It's like they're almost so glad to do something, to be in touch with the earth and the old business again. It's like when I read for Lucille Ball on the other side. She wanted to be back here. She had a wonderful time here. She missed it. You just never know with people. So I get that. Let me see what else. It seems like there needs to be something added to it or changed a bit. maybe some kind of addition to the script. Sort of filling it out in some way with somebody or something having to do with people.
Okay.
Again, I don't know what that means, but you can think about it.
Okay.
That has more color to it somehow. Something is lacking, and it needs to have something else brought in with more color and more juice than is there, okay?
Okay.
And I think once you do that, and it infuses the rest of the script, and you tie it together, you tie it in with the rest of the script. It's not just sitting there like a lump on a bump, but you pull it all the way in somehow. Then I find people looking at it and laughing and really enjoying it, and it feels like it starts to go someplace, and it gets on wheels and starts moving, okay?
Okay.
You might even ask friends, people you know, to read it and get their ideas. What could we add to this? What do you think? Solicit some opinions, but then toss it around yourself. It's like there's somebody else. It's a story or stories about somebody else or somebody with some other people in it. And it's all, when I look at the colors in red and some greens, and it's got more color to it, okay?
Okay.
It's got to be pulled. Go ahead.
No, well, just even of the people, do you see anything with the people who've actually requested it or the people who've already read it? Anything in their head, or I guess you're not in their heads, but anything that you see sort of coming?
Okay, let me see. I see interest, but I see by adding this other thing, and maybe it's something that they would add even. Let me do this. Let me put some mojo energy on it, okay?
That'd be perfect.
All right. And anybody out there who's got some writing that you need to have help with, you stand up and grab this. It can be anything, some writing you're doing at work or on your own time or for anything. We're going to put some juicy, good, big energy on this for you, Zachary and Paul, for this script and getting it out there. Woo! Bam! Bam! Woo! 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 Wow! 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 Bam! 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 Woo! Okay, there's a whole bunch of silvery, wiggly energy that went all through it and around it and all around you guys. So, woo! All right. Thank you for the call, Zach.
Thank you. So it's landing on people's desks shining, hopefully.
Yes, shining and pulsating.
Yes.
All right.
Well, thank you very much, Venus.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. All right. It looks like we have to have another short break. I'll be right back. Take more of your calls. See what you're up to. Woo-hoo-hoo. Venus Andrecht with the Dear Venus Show.
Attention business owners and entrepreneurs. Are you looking for help with your online marketing? Or do you need a beautifully designed custom website that you can edit yourself at an affordable price? Contact Heather at StudioThirdEye.com. She will make it happen for you online, from website design, branding, social media, to getting found on the internet. You can reach Heather at StudioThirdEye.com. Heather's professional and fair and has many happy clients from small and mid-sized businesses. Find her at StudioThirdEye.com. That's Studio ThirdEye.com. Or you can email intuitiveinternet@gmail.com and tell her what you need to accomplish. Heather will make it easy for you.
Hi, I'm Venus's daughter, Summer McStravick, and as they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's why I think you might enjoy my podcast, Flow Dreaming. It airs live on Tuesday, right before Venus's show, or you can find it on iTunes or at my website, flowdreaming.com. I work with energy, and I look in people's lives just like Venus, except I call what I do flow dreaming, and I teach other people to manifest and create in their lives using this flow energy too. So I hope you'll check out my podcast, Flow Dreaming, on iTunes, CTR, or at flowdreaming.com.
Venus thinks the world needs cheering up. Let me tell you, her blog certainly does that. Every week it's a true story about her life and the people in it. Here are a few comments. Oh, thank you. I am laughing so hard. Every Wednesday it's great to start my day like this. And love, love, love to read your blogs. You always make my day. I have emailed your blogs onto many people this year. And your blogs are profound, prophetic, and wise. They make me laugh and cry and everything in between. And, okay, Venus, I almost spewed coffee out of my nose reading this one. Too funny. By the way, her family subscribes to her blog for their own protection. You can subscribe too. Just look for the orange-colored feed at the top of the blog. You can find the latest and often harrowing adventures in Venus's life at godisalwayshappy.com/blog. That's godisalwayshappy.com/blog.
You're listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Hi, nice to see you. I'm glad you're still here. Exciting show. I'm having a good time. My newsletter's coming out tomorrow. You know, I send a little newsletter, e-newsletter, or e-postcard out. I try for maybe 2 a month. I call it the Juicy News with Venus. The topic tomorrow, I lived with a sociopath. I've got a story there about some ladies that I've worked with who, a lady who lived with a sociopath, and my little story, because I lived with one once too. We're really on these odd people today, aren't we? So if you want to get that newsletter, it goes out tonight. So get on the newsletter email right now. Just go to my website, find the blue headphones, click on them if you haven't done that already. That's the current newsletter. And you'll get that. The Juicy News, I lived with a sociopath. Pretty interesting. All right, we've got a winner. Every Tuesday, I choose a winner for a 10-minute free phone reading with me. And, of course, you have to be on my newsletter list to be in the pot to hopefully win. And the winner today is Virginia Albanese, Albanese. Virginia, you need to let me know you heard your voice, your name rather, called on my show. This offer's good through December 17th, 2012. After that, null and void. Sorry. All right. And by the way, we have a chat room, a live chat room here on every show through the radio station. You need to get on it. We have a lot of fun, and sometimes I'm even able to do some work over there if I have the time. Okay, let's look at the studio calls here. It's sort of like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Amy, Appleton, Wisconsin. Amy.
Hello.
Amy. Hello, Amy. It's
Hi,
Venus.
Venus. How are you?
Good. How are you? What's going on? What are we going to do?
Well, if you don't mind, I just want to say a comment to Barb.
Okay.
That those fantasy police in her head will get her every time.
They'll get her every time. Yeah, I think they get all of us.
Yeah, no kidding. But anyway, I just thought that when I heard her story. All right. Gosh, can't believe I'm talking to you. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I have an older sister, Liz. And unfortunately, we don't get along, have not gotten along for a very long time. And it's very unfortunate. And, of course, Christmas is coming up, and I'm going to have to see her again. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know if I'm going to go for sure. But I was just wondering if you could get in her head and see what she's thinking about me these days.
Okay, you call her Liz?
Yeah.
Okay, Liz. And how old are you, Amy?
I am 51.
And Liz is?
About 53 or 54.
Okay, and were you this way in childhood, or did it happen later?
Oh, no, this has gone way back.
Okay, all right. Well, let me go into your head, and then let me go find Liz. Liz. Okay, Amy first. Amy. In Appleton, Wisconsin. Okay, Liz, there you are. Not you, Amy. I'm getting you mixed up. Amy. Okay, I'm in your head. Now I'm looking for Liz. Does she get angry easily? Cranky?
Yeah.
Things bother her. Things bother her that you would think wouldn't or shouldn't bother her, or that don't bother other people. Is this correct?
This is correct.
Okay. Then I guess we have Liz. All right, Liz, may I come in and talk to you, please? Your sister sent me, Amy. Oh, what was your question? I'm sorry, Amy, I forgot. What do you want to know?
I just really hate her energy when I see her, and I wonder if her energy has changed towards me or what she's thinking about me these days.
Okay. All right, let me hop in and experience her energy. This sounds like a good time. All right. Liz, can I come in and talk to you, please? She's hard to get to. I think it's hard to reach her as a person. She puts up barriers. She may do this with other people. It feels like it to me. She builds barriers. That's what I heard him say. And how do you feel about your sister Amy? What are your thoughts about Amy? You can tell me. Liz, what do you feel about Amy? Oh, she's just a goody two-shoes. She's just a damn goody two-shoes. Are you? Is that what she thinks of you?
She must.
You think you're better than she is, you know more, or you think you have all the answers. Stuff like that is what I'm getting.
Oh, man.
Has she done that before, or is this news to you?
Well, I never took it that way. She was just always very angry at me, and she never
told you why.
Blamed me for a lot of stuff, and I never knew she really felt that way. Mm-hmm. I kind of knew she felt I was like a goody two-shoes, but I don't ever thought I came off that way.
Well, maybe she sees below your exterior to your true heart. That's a joke. That's a joke. There was this dead silence. This is just the way she sees you because she's making comparisons between you and her, and she wants to see you that way because it makes her feel better. She feels like next to you she doesn't come off as well or look as well or have as much maybe in life or internally. Let's see, why is that? Why do you feel like this, Lizzie? She's always been that way. It's like she's always been in some competition with you, and she feels she can't win because you're always better. Did your family treat you differently than they treated her? I'm
not sure. When you said competition, I have always felt that there was some sort of competition, but I never knew why there needed to be the competition.
Because she doesn't feel so good about herself. She doesn't like who she is. She doesn't like living with herself. She's unhappy inside. She doesn't feel good. It feels, when I'm in her, it just feels like her life is hard and difficult, and she's not happy, and she just doesn't have that feeling of being at ease or at peace with herself and with the world where you can enjoy life, at least sometimes. It's like she can't do that. And I'm saying, why are you so angry? She just, I don't know if that's the way she's built or came in, but it's the way she is now, and it's like a habit pattern. And she just feels resentful, not only of you, but other people. She just feels like she hasn't gotten her fair shake, or the situation isn't as good for her as it is for other people. Would that be fair to say?
That would be very fair to say, and I guess that's a lot of confirmation for me, Venus. I knew I could call and depend on you.
Oh, thank you. So what
can I call to figure this out again?
Well, you know what? It would help. They're telling me it would help if when you do see her or have to see her, and even before, starting right now, you start sending her loving thoughts and kindness and trying to fill her up with golden light, which is what we're doing right now. We're filling her up with golden light to help her, because can you imagine living like this? What an awful way to live. I'd be drinking all the time, you know. I don't know if she drinks.
She's wounded.
Huh?
She's very wounded.
Yes.
And I just think that she really used me as a scapegoat as in the family and as growing up and for all these years.
Yeah. And there may be something that happened to her back there that we don't know about. I'm feeling that there's a real likelihood that something happened to her that we don't know about. And she may not even remember or know about herself. Okay, that set her off like this, down this path. So just send her love and help and good feelings, and talk to whoever you talk to. Can be the high beings, can be the Virgin Mary, it can be anybody, to ask to help her, and just keep sending her that. And when you're with her, if you're with her, no matter what she says or how she acts, try to smooth it over with oil It's like a golden oil I see that you pour into the top of her head through her body. You just imagine it. I can't see you pouring salad oil on her head or something. That wouldn't go over very well. But just as in your mind, you understand. It's like a healing oil, a religious oil, or you know, aren't there oils that they use in different churches that are healing? What are those oils?
Well, holy water. I don't know
holy water and blessed oil. I'm seeing that. Did you come from a religious family?
We grew up Catholic.
That's why I'm seeing this. Okay. That's why I'm seeing the Virgin Mary and the blessed oil and all that. So that's where that's coming from. So use all of that.
Okay. I will.
All right, darling. Well, thank you so much. I hope it helps.
Venus, thank you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Glad to help. All right. Let's see. We've got a few minutes left here. Let's go with Alice in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Alice, hello.
Hi, Venus.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, what are we going to do today?
I lost my brother Gerald in 2005 under unusual circumstances.
Yeah, what were they?
I got a call from the embassy. He was sick. I got down there, and he had passed. The house had been broken in the night before. They tried to break in the safes. Money was taken out of his accounts, and his accountant's personal materials turned up in the house. There was blood in the house when I finally got in there, and it was lit the next day. I just want to know, is he all right?
Good grief. I'm trying to put all this together. You said the embassy?
Yeah.
What was he doing at the embassy? What embassy?
He wasn't in the embassy. The embassy from Guatemala called. He was living in retirement in Guatemala.
Oh, okay. Well, that helps. Okay, and they said he was sick?
Yes, and I needed to get down there.
What did they say he died of?
Encephalitis is what I have on the death certificate, but they said he was on a respirator, and I needed to get there.
Interesting. Okay, how old was he when he passed?
64.
All right, let me go look for Gerald. How old are you, Alice?
I'm 52.
Okay. Alice, let me go into your head first and make connection with you. Alice. Okay. And now Brother Gerald, who passed in 2005. Gerald, are you here? Oh, he's jumping up and down. He's so excited. I'm here.
I love him so much. I love him so much.
Oh. He's jumping up and down. I'm here. He's like just wearing a T-shirt.
That's him.
And some sort of drawstring pants or something like that. Is that his outfit? Okay.
Well, he was usually very well dressed, but in retirement he went casual.
Yeah, he's very casual. Okay, Gerald, I'm on the radio and I'm talking to your sister. Is there anything you need to say before I have to get off here? Let's speed it up. Anything you want to tell her? How are you doing? He says, I'm having a hell of a good time over here. He's having a wonderful time. He says it's the best vacation I've ever had. And he's showing me things like margaritas and drinks and, whatever he wants he can have.
He was an alcoholic. That's interesting. He was an alcoholic. He loved to drink. He loved the drink.
He's still enjoying himself that way. Of course, it's not the same there as here, but
doesn't
he's
hurt
showing
you
me
there. Yeah.
He's showing me all these drinks and all these little umbrellas on glasses and, real party thing. It's just a real party. The best party I've ever been to, the best retirement I've ever had. So how do you feel about your death and you died and it was very strange? Everything was strange down there. He says, well, I'll tell you, honey, it's a strange place down there. He says, things happen and you never know about them. And you never get the straight story. He says, that's how it is down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, well, did you die from something or were you killed or what do you know about this? And he said he knew a lot of people he shouldn't have known.
Yeah.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And he said it was best that I didn't know it, but since I did. So he's leading me to believe that something may have happened that got him out of his body.
Mm-hmm.
And what can you do about it now? He says, don't bother, don't worry. He says, you'll never figure it out. He says, he says, I messed in places I shouldn't have messed in. And I messed with people I shouldn't have messed with.
Mm-hmm.
So he was that kind of guy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
he's a lovely
okay.
person, though. Lovely person. Glad he's happy. Thank you, Venus.
Oh, you're welcome, darling. Well, yes, he's happy. Is there anything else you want to say to her or you to him?
Thank him for everything he's done for me. He was very good to me, very generous with me and my children.
Yes, and he still feels like a generous, happy person. All right. Mm-hmm. I just heard from the studio, and I got to go, but I'm glad he's fine. Thanks for calling. It was nice chatting with you. All right, everybody. Well, this was fun, so come back next Tuesday. We're going to go to the land of the dead and find somebody who's dead, who's a celebrity. So this is Venus Andrecht with the Dear Venus Show. See you then.